Okay, I've taken like 50 cuts of this. My computer's not letting me edit anything. And so, a stream of consciousness, although I've got some practice on this whole video here, I'm going to start with everything I say is probably wrong, but I want to make it so that people can get an idea that even a dunce can learn to improv. Um, the problem is there's a lot of YouTubes out there that are 10 to 30 minutes that say they barf out theory at you, and it's intimidating. It's like, how do you learn calculus? By practicing it. Great, thanks. Um, so this is not calculus. This is an expressive instrument, and your personality is reflected in it. That's the first thing you have to know. That is the most important thing to know. Um, you you don't have to practice, although practicing is 90% of the battle. But understanding how to express yourself is step one in improv. Um, so step two is this is geared at rock and metal players. You probably know your minor pentatonic. I'm a David Gilmour guy, so it's a D minor pentatonic. Um, you can shift it a little bit. Now, I'm going to preface this with I don't know the cage system, so if you see me using the cage system, I have no idea I'm doing it. I still haven't really learned what. Point being, you can shift it a little bit. This is how Gilmour does it. Right there. You might recognize that, learning to fly. So what that allows you to do is add that. And if you're familiar with Randy Rhoads, he loves putting that in there, that flat. And you can bebop scale the pentatonic. So you add the, which sounds awkward on its own, but when you play it in a string of stuff, so you're adding some color there. Learn your harmonic minors. And I know I'm blasting theory at you, but it's only these few things. Know the expression and yourself. Know your pentatonics to get started. It's an easy way to get started on improv. And then know your harmonic minors. So like an E minor harmonic. So the harmonic minor is really the colorful, and you can add it in. You just add that into your minor pentatonic, and it adds a little more color if you want to work around some stuff. And then learn to bend. That's the last thing. If you can bend and have good intonation, you're 90% of the way ahead of other people trying to learn. So, again, we'll go to that David Gilmour. Maybe a little Santana. Then I shifted to a major there, kind of accidental, but you can cover major pentatonics later. The minor pentatonic is super expressive. Most people stick around rock and metal or in the minors anyway. So expression, minor pentatonics, learn how to shift them around and work around the neck. Know your harmonic minors and how to bend, and work on intonation, And you get those. That's the next step is just pick a note, any note, play it. I'm gonna stick with a D minor. If you have a freeze pedal, that's great. You can just and then freeze it and just play over that one note, because that allows you to go to major, minor, Dorian, Mixolydian, Lydian, anywhere you want. You can play it, So. Dorian. But now you just use that harmonic minor and minor pentatonic, and just you play that note, A little Star Trek. Playing a single note allows you to just bend anywhere you want, and the intent is that it's a sandbox. You can just play things, and you won't ever hit a wrong note. I mean, yeah, you can, but that works. It does work if you're like trying to add suspense or some color to it. So those are the sort of things you want to make mistakes. So I would spend 5-10 minutes just playing a note. They got drone notes on YouTube. The other most important thing that people don't know, you can use YouTube to slow things down. And if you go into the advanced settings, so there's like playback speed. If you go to advanced, you can change it by 0.5% increments. So you can slow licks down and learn them. That's handy. But once you have that, there's backing tracks you can use. I don't like the backing tracks because they're always just so preppy. Learn songs, like Tornado of Souls. Just you don't have to learn a solo from Tornado of Souls, but just like listen to it. Songs that make you feel good and have a good vibe to it. I like to play along to Another Brick in the Wall, and you get the you don't have to play David Gilmour solo, but you're working through the chord changes, and it allows you to pick out things. And there's licks that just come naturally, and the one I always tell people to work with because it helps with your technique is the. So you can do that. It sounds neat. It's better than a. And away you go. That is currently 7 minutes of bullshit that's probably wrong. Yes, you are going to get into a pentatonic box. You're going to be stuck in there, and you're going to have to learn how to work your way out. And that's fine, because the next step is jazz. And don't turn your nose up at jazz. I'm not going to get into that, but improv really is just playing around. It's noodling, and don't listen to anything anyone says out there. It's you develop your own style, your own sound, and eventually you're going to become unhappy with it. But other people are going to hear it and be like, "Wow, that's nice." That's another important thing to remember: is you might not like it, but other people will. A large majority of people will like it, even if you think it sounds bad. And when you don't like it, you start learning how to do new things, and that's when I say introduce a Dorian mode. So, like. I'm shifting modes there. Once you start learning how to do that, you can add more color, and so then you start getting into. I'm going to go to C minor, and then a chord change. Start introducing chord changes, and it's going to force you to adapt and do new things, and that's going to add a lot of color. And again, you're going to be happy with your sound for a little bit until you're not happy with your sound, and it's just a constant game. It's normal to be unhappy with your sound. Other people aren't unhappy with you, and that's pretty much it. So again, recap: know your instrument is an extension of your expression. It's an expressive instrument. There is theory, but it's not the most important thing in the world to know. I would say it's better to jump into the mud and make a mess. Then no bending, intonation, give you some more expression. That is a middle finger to piano players right there, and boy, we love sending middle fingers to piano players. Learn your harmonic minors. They complement your pentatonics well. And then drone notes. You know, start with a drone note, get out there, play, make noise, and then start following, you know, some songs you like, and just doing it. I started, the first solo I learned was Money from Pink Floyd, and then I just started vamping over the solo section from Money, and you know, that's a really good one, especially if you learn to swing. Um, and then just keep pushing you, and remember that you're not going to like the way you sound, and if you don't like the way you sound, that means that you have a desire to learn. We're now at 10 minutes, so I'm going to turn this off. This is just a very basic get out there and improv. Move fast and break things. As much as I fucking hate that phrase, just go and do it. Um, if you're looking for better instruction, my old teacher, Jamie Robinson, has a Patreon you can pay for that's really affordable, that allows you to get access to some of his approaches to soloing. And yeah, we're in a very good age where you can just reach out to some Grammy Award winning guitar players and be like, do you offer lessons? It won't be cheap, but usually they'll meet you on Venmo, because everyone's, support your artists. Everyone's pie is getting eaten by Spotify. So, yeah, take lessons off guitarists if you can. I'm taking lessons off Adam Ratner, and yeah, that's a good way to learn. Those people, they're famous for a reason. Um, and before the corpo shills figure out how to put them all in a little box and make profit off them from you and give them a slight, you know, do the whole Spotify thing again. Anyway, that's enough politics. Um, get out there, just play your instrument. Don't let the barf of theory discourage you, and just make noise.